What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We finally have another foreigner dating in Korea story time for you guys. And y'all see the title, right? So I have to be very careful with how I share this story on YouTube because it is very easy to get demonetized in these sorts of situations. But if you do want access to the spicy NSFW foreigner dating in Korea story times, then check out my Patreon. It's not just spicy stuff, by the way. I also have a few couple vlogs there, and there's also some sensitive issues that unfortunately and annoyingly do get demonetized on YouTube. The latest story, for example, is about a girl who met a guy in Hongdae, and she was invited along with her friends to his apartment in Gangnam, but he tricked her. And she found herself alone with him in his apartment, and she found a spy cam in his bathroom. Here's a little sneak peek. It was maybe a few days later, after we all ate, when I saw him again. He said he wanted to invite us over to his place, and everyone was so excited because of where his apartment was. We've seen the cool fancy apartments in K-dramas, but we never got to see them in real life. He lives in Gangnam near Karosugyo, so we knew what that meant. We talked a lot and it was all going so normally. He's definitely charming, which is part of his trap, I'm sure. So I eventually had to go to the bathroom as I drank a lot of alcohol. Still, none of my friends were there. He told me where it was and in I went, to the bathroom. I can never explain why, but I felt like I was being watched. I ignored it at first. I really had to pee, but for some reason I hesitated. Something told me to look around first. He had a potted plant that was tall enough to be on the floor and still tower over his sink. I remember being impressed that a single man could take care of houseplants. So I took a closer look. That's when I saw it. Given the location, the way it was positioned in front of the toilet, and knowing what I know about Korea, I knew it had to be a camera on it somewhere. I was absolutely outraged. But I didn't want to make a scene since I was here alone with him in his apartment. So to get that full story or find out what happens next, click the link below and join my Patreon. You'll also get access to like 100 other exclusive videos that will never see the light of day on YouTube for obvious reasons. And unfortunately, part of the story will also have to be on Patreon today. Don't worry though, you won't miss any context here on YouTube, but if you do want some spicy extra details, that is on Patreon. So for this story, we have our girl Izzy. She says she doesn't mind us using her real name because it's a common enough name. No one will know who she is based on Izzy. So far, Izzy has taken a trip to South Korea every year since 2019. That was her first trip. She was hooked and she makes it her mission to go back every year. Obviously, 2020 was a different time. We don't talk about that. But with the exception of 2020, she's gone every year. And this is what happened on her latest trip. Get your tea ready. Before she left for this recent trip, she was chatting with people on Hello Talk. We all know Hello Talk. It's supposed to be a language exchange app, not just for Korea. There are people all over the world. If you're a French person and you want to learn Russian, if you're a Russian person and you want to learn Dutch, you're supposed to be able to talk with people from all over the world. You guys can help each other with conversational practice, all that good stuff, but it is often somehow a dating app. So Izzy met this guy that she was chatting with pretty regularly, and typically she uses Hello Talk really often because as often as she goes to Korea, she wants to actually get really good at Korean. So she's been using Hello Talk to practice conversational Korean with Koreans. She met this lad named Juhyun. They were genuinely exchanging language with each other for the first 4 months. He was younger than her, so she didn't see him as anything more than like someone to help her practice and a good friend. Like, she was so not interested in him romantically whatsoever. He was nice, but that thought literally never crossed her mind. More than anything, she was happy to have someone consistently responding to her because over her time using Hello Talk, she's had guys and girls just end conversations, stop responding. They seem so keen and interested and enthusiastic in the beginning, like, oh, let's become language exchange buddies, I'll help you, and then just stops hearing from them. But with Juhyun, 4 months, 4 consistent months, where if she had a question about Korean grammar, he was there to answer. If he had a question about some English, even though he was really good, he didn't really need her help that much, but it kind of kept the conversation going back and forth. He was a good teacher for her, and he made things easier for her to understand. So as her next trip to Korea was drawing closer, she wanted to practice more and more, like speaking straight Korean. Don't slow down, I want to see if I can keep up. And she got really comfortable speaking with him, and as she mentioned her trip was coming up, she's like, you know, it'd be really nice if I could test myself chatting with a Korean person in person, like in real life. So she asked Juhyun if he'd be down to meet over a cup of coffee or something. He's like, absolutely, that would be really fun. I can meet my pen pal. Again though, at this point, nothing was flirty. The days leading up to her flight, he asked her like her flight info. He wanted to make sure she wasn't gonna get in too late, give her some advice for navigating the airports and the taxis and stuff and the buses and the trains. But this is like her 5th trip to Korea, so she's got it. But for peace of mind, she gave him her flight info, so he knew when she took off and knew when she landed. Much to her surprise, he met her at Incheon Airport.
Gala! Where the hell have you been, Loca?
She was completely surprised. He did not even hint that he was gonna try and sneak up on her and meet her or anything like that. He said, I just wanna make sure you get in safe. So by the time she landed, got through immigration, got her baggage, it was pretty late, but she was used to this, so she wasn't too worried. But he explained, oh, it might not be safe, you're a girl, it's really late, navigating the buses and the trains this late at night alone could be tricky, so I'm here to help. He said it was his duty to escort her from Incheon to Seoul. And honestly, Izzy was genuinely touched by that, and she had luggage that he was able to help her with too. So they finally made it to her hostel in Songdong. It's like near the Seoul forest area, so that's like northeast-ish Seoul. He got there, helped her roll her luggage to her hostel check-in counter, made sure she got in, said goodnight, and he just went home. He said, let me know when you're free. Welcome to Seoul. I hope everything's comfortable for you. After she showered and got unpacked, got comfortable, she's in bed, looking at her phone, disappointed that he has not texted her anything at all yet since he left. You know, at this point, she's wondering / hoping that maybe he's interested in her romantically. It didn't take long before she just fell asleep, and she slept for nearly 11 hours. When she woke up, she had a message from Joo-hyun asking if she slept well, if she was comfortable, how was her night, her first night back. She was so happy to see he was checking in on her. She thanked him for escorting her from the airport because that was seriously like the sweetest thing ever. He's like, yeah, no problem. Let me know if you need anything, just message me. So anyway, she gets on with the rest of her trip to Korea because since she comes annually, she does have friends there that she hangs out with. Korean friends, foreigners living and working in Korea as well. There was one night she was at a pub with a group of her friends, and one of her friends brought a handsome friend. They all hung out, you know, celebrating the fact that they're all back in Korea, reunited again. She takes pictures, posts them on Instagram. She also posts them on Hello Talk because if you're on Hello Talk, they have moments where like you could post status update, you can post pictures, videos, things like that. And she posted a picture of them all at the pub. Now this handsome friend, she's like next to him. So it looks like they're together in this picture. But it was absolutely nothing like that. They all happened to hang out, they had a few drinks. It was just good vibes, friendly vibes. So after she posted this on Hello Talk, like back to Korea, life is good, Joo-hyun must have seen this picture. It seemed to make him feel away or got him interested because he asked, oh, looks like you had a fun night. Who's this handsome guy next to you? She's like, oh yeah, I went to a Thursday party with a group of friends. It was actually really fun. But he wanted her to be more specific. He's like, fun. And who's the guy, the handsome dude that's next to you? Izzy said he's a new friend, which is true. So then Joo-hyun is like, what kind of friend? So she explained that she just literally met him through a friend, like they're just friends. So then she asked like, why are you asking so much about this dude? Like, what's the big deal?
Asking all them questions, why are you asking all them questions, making statements?
He said he was asking all these questions because he's a handsome man and she's a pretty girl, and naturally they look like they should be dating. Izzy only heard pretty girl. That's all she needed to hear. She heard that and nothing else and addressed it. And then he said, is it shock? Like, you're a pretty girl. Have you never heard this before? And then he's like, you're clearly beautiful and I enjoy talking with you. So when you're with a handsome man, I have questions. And this was clearly the beginning in a shift in their relationship where they went from completely friendly, helpful, language exchange, pen pal buddies to now, I think you're pretty. Oh, I think you're handsome. And she was pretty blunt with how she felt. She said, oh, that feels good to hear you say actually. She doesn't know when it happened, but she definitely is interested in him. Even though he's younger, she doesn't even care about that anymore. So he finally asked if they could hang out one-on-one casually and in person. No more Hello Talk. I know you've been here a few days, but can we hang out? She says yes, and they have a date. And what's cute is he meets her at her hostel because he knows exactly where it is because he dropped her off there. And what she really liked is when he suggested they meet up, it was like an all-day thing. It wasn't like, let's just meet for dinner and boom, boom. He wanted to spend the whole day with her. So they went for a coffee and like a little snack, like a little bread, some sort of pastry. Then they went to an arcade and he won a plushie for her. And she was like, man, this is huge. I'm not gonna be able to fit this in my suitcase. Then they did karaoke together, which she was impressed by his vocals. Did not expect that. And she really wanted to practice singing some Korean songs, like to see if she actually could get through it. And then they got dinner. So yeah, they hung out all day. Amazing, romantic. And she named her plushie that he won for her Jui. And he would joke and say like, oh, I'm the daddy, which is insane foreshadowing. But during this date, this was pretty much the first time she told him that she would love to move to Korea. She expressed the desire to just transition. Instead of coming every year, I want to live here. I want to move to Korea. He said that was great to hear because he could date her more seriously. He wouldn't have to leave his family and move to another country. He likes his home and he hopes she likes it too. So yeah, there was a lot of really serious conversations that they had really early on in their relationship. They spent months talking together online, felt like they knew each other pretty well, and then in person they had great chemistry. He was sweet, handsome, smart, funny, what's not to like? So after their first date, literally the night of, she's back at her hostel, he's home, he decides to ask her if she would be his girlfriend. I know we always warn about the perils of love bombing in Korea because he didn't love bomb. I'm not saying he love bombed. He didn't say I love you, but like asking to be your partner, boyfriend and girlfriend after the first date, like right after the first date, that's insane work. But Izzy did not hesitate and she said yes. So now they are boyfriend and girlfriend and she has about 3 weeks left in Korea. As the days started to go by, she was spending the majority of her time with Joo-hyun. Her friends are like, bitch, we miss you. Like, can we see you too? You came here for us. This made her friends very interested in meeting this mystery man that suddenly stole their girl from them. So they planned a nice group activity. They decided to do an escape room together.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
He impressed everybody because he just knew everything. Like he was just on it, Sherlock Holmes. They're like, wow, this is a really smart guy. He nailed it. To every room, every situation, he just knew where to look. They're like, yo, he has good sense. Nunchi. But at least he's honest because he admitted that he's been to that escape room many times.
Cute.
Is this nigga serious?
In any case, they liked him, the friends seemed to approve, everything was heading in the right direction. Like I said, they are moving fast. It wasn't long before she even met his family. She met his sister and she met his mom. Dad is usually working all the time. As of writing this, she hasn't really had any one-on-one sit-down time with dad yet. She met his friends, he met her friends. She's not that close with her family, so they haven't really arranged any sort of like Zoom call or FaceTime or whatever people do these days. And I know we see the title of this video, so let's get into how that unfolded, what led to that. At this point, they had already been doing stuff. They had been very active together in a short amount of time. Now, obviously, it can be a little hard to estimate when you conceived exactly, especially when you're very active and going at it like rabbits all the time. But there are certain indications about this one time in particular. It's like, oh, it must have been this day. They had a healthy private life. The TLDR YouTube friendly version is because she had a hostel, she had a lot of people in the room, they would kind of come and go, they would get interrupted a lot, didn't really get to do a whole lot. He lived with his family still. So there was one time when the parents were away, the sister was away, that they got down, and this is the time when conception happened. Well, that was spicy, wasn't it? How spicy was that, Felix?
Well, that's very spicy. Well, it's so good.
So yeah, she sort of thought, what are the odds that anything will happen this one time we don't use anything, right? Am I right? So about 2.5 weeks goes by. She has a little bit less than a week left before her flight home. They're on cloud 9, they spend so much time together, everyone is happy, everything is just good, life is good, she's in love, everything is perfect. She can't wait to come back to Korea after this. She's got no ick, no red flags, like nothing she could say, oh, I like him, but. Even the fact that he's younger just didn't matter anymore. She said he's very attentive, he's very charming, and he's mature, which she found to be incredibly refreshing and like too good to be true, but so far it's not. Then one day, Izzy realizes her period is late. And you know, this happens. Girlies know this happens from time to time, right? No big deal. But she mentioned it to Joo-hyun and he immediately freaked out and made it a big deal. He said, no, we should take a test. We need to be sure you're about to leave. I want to know before you go if something happens. She's like, babe, girls' periods are late. It could be stress, it could be your diet, it could be hormones, it's fine. But he insisted and eventually she relented. So they go to Olive Young and they only got one. She was sure this would come back negative, it would calm him down, they could move on and enjoy the last few days they have together until she has to leave. But it came back positive. And you know, you do this thing where you're in denial. So you're like, no, like it would be too soon, surely, to even get a positive result, right? So they go to Google, well, Naver, and they find out, yeah, around 2 weeks, you can see a positive result, or even a few days before your missed period. So the time is timing and the math is mathing. They decide to get a few more from various pharmacies and keep testing just in case. All of them except for one came back positive. So her flight is like 5 days away and now she's all but confirmed to be pregnant. So Izzy decided to make the executive decision to postpone her flight and her return to work by another 2 weeks because this is an emergency.
I think we have an emergency. I think we have an emergency.
They wanted to wait until they could get like an official examination from a doctor. She wanted to do this around Joo-hyun because that was only fair, that if he's going to be dad, they hear it from a doctor directly together. So yes, the doctor confirms it and now they're both completely freaking out. They're weighing all their options, including the A word. It shouldn't be controversial, but it's 2026 and here we are. They also weighed the other A word, adoption. But again, with them being from 2 different countries, that would make that incredibly difficult. And this just changed everything because sure, they've been talking online for a few months, so they feel like they know each other, but they've only been dating for less than 1 month. And here they are, expecting together. So as of sending this email, Izzy's about 6 weeks along. And they actually decided to not tell anyone yet, which is why I was like, girl, you sure you want to tell us this now? But she's like, listen, respectfully, my family's not watching your channel. Fair. But basically the plan as of now is they're gonna have the baby together. In the next few months before she gives birth, she's planning to move to Korea. So she can have the baby there and they can start a life there together because she's been wanting to go anyway. She's not very close with her family. So she doesn't really have too many ties to her homeland, to her country. She's like, you know what, I've been wanting to go for a while. If anything, this is more of a reason why I should definitely just make the move. Her plan is to try to do the digital nomad visa thing because she can work from home. So that would be absolutely ideal. Joo-hyun has decided not to tell his family until she's moved to Korea, which hopefully won't take too long because that would be really awkward. Like, hey, remember last time you guys saw her and she wasn't with child and now she's with child and we're about to be parents and she just moved over here. Like, she'll be showing if they wait too long. So that's kind of the worry. Another reason they want to do this in Korea is just because of the resources. They have better healthcare, more affordable healthcare, better childcare. There's more support because they're trying so hard to incentivize births in Korea. They've even discussed potentially getting married because that would make things more easier for their child with all the registration stuff that they have to do. Needless to say, they have a lot to sort out in the next 8 months, 7 months or so. Izzy, girly, thank you so much for sending in this story, especially since your own family doesn't know. Like, oh wow. I look forward to any potential updates. All good news, all good vibes, all good things. Congratulations. If you enjoy these sort of story times, check the playlist. It's about to play on the end screen. This isn't the first pregnant in Korea story time we've told on this channel. There's a few now. Also check out my Patreon if you want access to other stories that will never be here, and also some spicy NSFW details of this story. If you have your own dating in Korea story time you'd like to share, please email me at cclesson3@yahoo.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong!